Element, Fulmer versus the Board of Wyoming. Motion be made to accept the final agreement settlement with Chris Markovich and Board of Wyoming. Commercial loan with Fidelity Deposit Discount Bank number ending in 4375 has been satisfied as of August 18, 2018. Hand note from October 209 when M&T transferred to Fidelity 24 June of 15. Motion be made tonight to decide on the future of Commissioner Mike Flanagan's employment with the borough. The paper shredder event will be held Saturday, September the 29th at Flag Field from 11 to 3. Residents are allowed up to 3 bankers boxes to be shredded. Residents must show identification. The Level Crest Maintenance Road Repair Project slated construction on August the 20th. Swetland Lane parking lot will be temporarily closed to the public use. The repair road work on the levee will require the use of a moving construction zone, barricades, signage, and placements to be kept from pedestrians and safety and out of the work area. The authority requests the cooperation of the public by refraining from using the levees for recreation at this time. Luzerne County West Nile Project conducted another ultra-low spraying for mosquitoes on August 28, 18. Additional spraying will take place for mosquito level control. Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection, DEP, West Nile Virus, and WNB Control Project will conduct an aerial ultra-low volume mosquito control operation on Monday, September the 10th, 18, over the cities of Wilkes-Barre and surrounding communities. The October council meeting will be moved to Tuesday, October the 8th, 18, due to the national holiday, Columbus Day. That's the agenda for tonight.
To get started, people have been calling, asking questions regarding why the special meeting was canceled. I would like to ask Council President why the meeting was
I just
canceled.
canceled. I was going out of town.
What's that?
I was out of town. I had to go out of town. I canceled it.
Okay. So you were out of town on that date, correct? Okay. And you were the one that chose the date though, right?
Yes, I was. Things come up day to day, you don't know what's happening.
Anybody else have anything, or I'll just keep going? I do want to call out Tom Scalanger and thank him. I know he got up and talked about the Lowe's Cares program in regards to the John G. Bolin Park down Butler Street. You want to explain how the process worked with the vote and everything? And
Yeah, what they had 5 people that, 5 different places that were eligible for it. And they put it to a vote by the entire employee body at the warehouse, and we won. So what Lowe's is gonna come in and do is do landscaping, painting, repairs to the pavilion. We're looking at putting the fencing in, and Joe met with the building manager and the maintenance manager, and everything is a go. We supply the labor. Lowe's has the employees a give back program where you get 8 hours of pay to come and do the project. So, we supply all the employees, and it doesn't cost the borough a penny.
yeah, so it's a pretty big deal. Basically, it's mold, painting. They were going to look at that front piece of fence across the front where it's all falling down. Jimmy said our guys could actually help out with that too. So it should turn out pretty well, I think, in mid-October. Like you said, we won as far as the finalists. Now they just have to submit it for approval.
How much will, how does Lowe's know how much the project is costing? I'm just not curious, they don't tell you.
They don't even
Yes,
look at that, basically, they just, you know, the things that they can do is what they will do, so you're talking full-blown mulch, playground mulch, and fencing, and,
Last year, they did the Boys and Girls Club up in Scranton, they painted the entire gym and did the floor, so.
they put a whole new rubber floor in, he said, so that's, I'm sure, pretty funny.
Wow, that's nice.
Just want to thank you for that, because we wouldn't have had, you know, and I know they said that you lobbied for the borough too to get it, so thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, a couple things else I can bang out now, then if we have time, before we get to the police report. Security system update, officer in charge McGurk contacted Northeast, they're gonna come in. They came already once, looked at the system, figured out what they need, so we're just hoping within this week or next week they'll be able to come back. They got us in their schedule to move what they need to move. Officer McGurk also provided the borough manager with all the necessary information for the Tahoe, so we're just waiting for that to go out to bid. Their new vest came in. A hearing update for the property, the old KB Guilford property down there. They had a hearing, they did a 45-day continuance where the gentleman in front of the court said that he will have it demolished within 45 days. So if that does not happen, he's subject to jail time and a huge fine. So it's pretty clear that it should be on the ground within 45 days. And Harry Smith was going to be working with him to make sure that all the permits are pulled and that everything's done properly. So that's, I forget the date that was, I think 28th or something like that. But and I know everyone was aware that the state police were here, and we gave consent for them to remove some computer and storage devices. They returned those today. So that's all been imaged, and we cooperated with them fully, and they returned it today.
Mr. Mayor, as far as the security cameras are concerned, the ones in the personnel office have to stay there.
The ones
The
where?
personnel office, in her office. She has no way of checking who's coming in the main entrance and who's coming up the steps. So
Yeah, that was addressed too, and what they were gonna do when the people were here, they were gonna put a buzzer, so it actually beep when someone's coming up the stairs, and they're gonna put a monitor right there, so that she has view of it right there, so that it's not technically, so that way, if they do it for one office, they don't have to do it for everyone's office up here, they figured that would be sufficient. Would you be all right with that? So basically,
Just as long as I
Yeah.
can see who's in that other room
yeah,
and in here, because I'm by myself.
yeah, and if that's the case, we could definitely make arrangements, like,
Yeah.
me and Officer McGurk were talking about
Whoever
it, because
comes
we
up
want
for
to
the elevator, I can see,
Exactly.
only because a lot of people, you know,
Yeah.
come in and the street workers aren't here
Well,
and.
you'll be here when they do it, so whatever you want them to do,
Okay.
for your, however you want it set up for you, we just wanted, you know, you to feel comfortable, so whatever that means, you know, we'll leave that up to you. But he did put a plan in place for that, because he wanted to have, you know, we talked about a buzzer, so that if someone's coming up the stairs, it'll be, you can pull one over by the elevator too, and that'll alert you to look at the camera screen, because I'm sure that's probably even better, because you're not probably staring at the camera screen.
Yeah, I usually hear the door bang
Yeah.
downstairs, so as soon as I hear a door bang, I kind of look at the cameras for the doors.
Yeah, so now we'll get that situated.
Does anybody have any problems with mosquitoes?
Very good.
Everybody, they're gonna spray, they did spray, and they keep, every time they go to spray, it rains. So, the lady down there at the Conservation District had said that they were going to try to do Susquehanna back here by the creek, you know, try to get as much as they could done. And I just said, I never seen it like this in all the years I lived here. So I know a lot of people, you know, have had the same problems. And so just let you know that they are working on it, and we'd like to have some dry winter.
Have we gotten anywhere with the crossing guards in the school district? Hey? Yeah.
Yes, it was, and and if they, their first pay, we have that payment.
Good.
Or we don't have to do it, you know, the camera just has to pay us.
Anyone want to take a break now before we start the meeting?
The meeting's not advertised till 7:30, so.
Right.
Kids, I should change this. Catch,
Agenda for September the 10th, 2018, welcome to order. Please stand, face the flag of our country, and recite the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Program, roll call, please.
Mr. Stephen Alawaco,
Present.
Mr. Frank Burek,
Present.
Mr. Michael Beloga,
Present.
Mr. Michael Flynn,
Here.
Mrs. Diane Smile.
Present.
Mr. Joseph Schultz.
Here.
Attorney Shannon Craig Lansky, absent. Mayor Joseph Dominic
Present.
and Lars Anderson.
Please.
There we go.
Thank you, Roseanne. Minutes for the August 2018 meeting are available for review at the Borough Office. The minutes are approved by motion made by Mr. Beloga.
Second.
Mr. Urick, all in favor, saying by saying aye.
Aye.
Nays, ayes have it, so moved. Reports of the Police Commissioner, Street Commissioner, Code Enforcement Officer for the month of August 2018 have been submitted and placed on file for public inspection. Reports in committees. Administration, Joe Scully.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Motion we made to accept the final agreement settlement, Fuller versus Borough of Wyoming. And the motion will be made to accept the final agreement settlement, Chris Murphy, Borough versus Borough of Wyoming. And commercial loan with Fidelity Deposit Discount Bank loan number ending in 4375 has been satisfied on August 18, 2018. The TAN note from October 2009 with M&T transferred to Fidelity to June 24, 2015. That's in my report.
Thank you, Mr. Schultz. Emergency Service, Police and Fire Department, Mrs. Miles.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A motion will be made to decide on the future of Commissioner Michael Flanagan's employment with the borough tonight. And that's in my report.
Thank you, Mrs. Miles. Health and Sanitation, Mr. Urick.
Mr. Chairman, Borough Paper Shred event will be held on Saturday, September 29th at Flag Field from 3 to 11. Residents are allowed up to 3 bankers' boxes to be shredded. Residents must show identification. That's the end of my report,
Thank
Mr.
you,
Chairman.
Mr. Urick. Personnel, Mr. Flynn.
No report, Mr.
Thank you, Mr. Urick. Mr. Flynn. Public Property, Mr. Urick.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There's no report.
Thank you, Mr. Urick. Streets, Sewers, Public Works, Mr. Urick.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Levy Crest Maintenance Road Repair Project started construction on August 20th. The Sweatland Lane parking lot will be temporarily closed to public use. The repair work on these levee crest roads will require the use of moving construction zone and barricades, and signals will be placed to keep pedestrians safe and out of the work area. The authority requests the cooperation of the public in refraining from using the levee for recreation at this time. That's the end of my report.
Thank you, Mr. Urick. Zoning and Planning, Mr. Bowler.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Luzerne County West Nile program conducted another ultra-low volume spraying for mosquitoes on August 28th of 2018. Additional spraying will take place today, which will probably be put off because of the weather. And the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection, West Nile Project Control Program will conduct an aerial upper low volume mosquito control Monday, September 10th, which is today, which would probably be put off for the future. But letting you know that the mosquito problem is trying to be taken care of. And also there's a community yard sale Saturday, September 22nd for the borough of Wyoming, and there's no permit required for the, anybody that wants a yard sale to have a yard sale. So Roseanne is going to put in the paper about the community yard sale next week. And so we should have pretty good publicity for it. Make sure when you put signs up, that they're pretty big signs, so people can read them. That's the end of my report.
Thank you, Mr. Boyd. The October council meeting we moved to Tuesday, October 9, 2018, due to the national holiday, Columbus Day. Solicitor's report?
I have nothing to report.
Thank you. Mayor's report?
So I'm going to address you guys not only as the mayor, but also as a lifelong resident. Just wanted to read something to you that I put together. First off, I have no animosity towards Mr. Flanagan. My only concern is for our police department, our borough, and our citizens. I am respectfully requesting that you indulge me by carefully listening to these remarks before you decide on one of the most important votes you will cast as a member of council. I want you to imagine an applicant is before you who desires to lead our police department. This applicant has experience as a former police chief in a community that disbanded its police force. The following facts are presented to you. The applicant will not perform basic police work except in an emergency. The applicant has recently pled guilty in a plea bargain to stealing from a municipality where he was previously employed. There is a high probability that the applicant's credibility will be challenged if he had to testify in court based on the charge of theft. The integrity of the applicant may prevent other law enforcement agencies from sharing information with our borough. This applicant requests a 3-year contract, which will pay $53,000 the first year, $55,000 the second year, and $58,000 the third year, along with 3 weeks paid vacation. It also appears the state police have opened a new investigation by seizing work computer and hard drives. I would now ask each of you, would you vote to employ this person? The answer that the taxpayers expect, since they are the ones who voted you all and myself into office, is no. The residents would also expect you to come to the realization that such a contract is not fiscally responsible for our borough. Here are some facts. By keeping this position, we would be paying an average of $55,000 per year to a commissioner role. Wyoming Borough's 2016 median household income was $42,584. Our population has declined 5.8% since 2010. We can't afford this position, nor do we need it. I believe it would be in the best interest to eliminate the police commissioner's position at this time and continue as we are now with an officer in charge. Tonight I ask council to make 2 motions. One, to terminate the employment of Michael Flanagan following his guilty plea, and the second, to terminate this ridiculous police commissioner position. We are not New York. We are not Philadelphia. We are not the state police. We do not need a police commissioner. We are a 4 full-time officer police department, and we're operating just fine the way we are currently. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Floor is out to the public. Mr. Jordan?
I'll be fine.
Thank you. Pat Scalange?
Galancher.
Scalange, all right.
I have a question. You have been talking about cameras. Is there a camera on our building, right up here on the corner where the gingerbread house is?
I would say no. It's only on our property here that I know of now. He's the person in charge of the cameras.
Our officers haven't seen all the cameras that she has access to yet, so I don't know.
The only one I know is back by the dumpster.
No, I don't only see around the borough building.
Like, the reason I'm asking is this Friday at 3:37, the school bus stopped in front of the gingerbread house, had the lights on, had the yellow arm out. And it was letting off 3 children, I would say from maybe kindergarten and 2nd grade. Along this route, in front of where these stores are, the Rerun and the other places, there were no cars parked. A gentleman in a gray car, between 30 and 40 years of age, decided he was going to come on the side of the bus where the children got off the bus. He missed 2 of the children by this much. And I just wanted to know if there are cameras there to see who that person was. Because I know I wouldn't remember the license plate number.
Would the one in the front catch that or no? No?
No, sir, would not have a, there's a picture yet, any kind of license plate.
And who's the police, because I don't know the police officers, except for Chris. Who's the one that drives the black sports car with the red stripe? Okay, you were here that day. Is there, and I know you were in the building because the cruisers were here. And I had stopped after that incident, but I couldn't get in the building to let the police officer know. So in a case like that, how do I get a hold of the cop?
The best thing you can do, ma'am, is to typically call 911, they can notify us directly. If we're inside the building and we're doing reports or attending to other administrative duties, we might not necessarily be able to hear the door because they're trying to knock in.
So there's no doorbell or,
That's correct, there is not.
okay, thank you.
Thank you, Pat. Jerry Walsh?
Yes, I'm coming to you again this month regarding a right to know request. I submitted 6 on July 12th, and theoretically there was an extension granted, which meant that I should have had them by August 15th. Today is September 10th. I have received nothing. At this point, well, actually about a week ago, I gave her plenty of time to answer them, more than enough. And I submitted a appeal to the Office of Open Records. And they've assigned an attorney to investigate. Now, depending on the outcome of this, the right to know officer has no liability, but you guys do. Which could result in a $1,500 fine. Additionally, if they find that it's in bad faith and they determine a date, it could be $500 a day for each request.
What were the requests?
There were 6 of them. And actually, a couple of them, and I mentioned this last month, they were some of them were very simple to answer. One was like a 1-word answer. And in fact, I asked for a copy of the budget, or not the budget, but the audit, which coincidentally happened to come in that day when I hand-delivered them. Could have been, they could have emailed me a copy that day. Here we are almost 2 months down the road. That's my point. Nobody can answer.
Who's the right to know officer?
Because they're not accountable, and they're not being held accountable.
And it's
And that's
Terry
your
Smith
job.
that deals with it.
Yeah, she has to get you those requests. Or else,
So now, because of her, if his lawyer comes after her, our borough is gonna have to wind up paying.
You'll end up having to stand
Because of her.
on that as well.
And nobody says anything.
Well, if you had her problems, you want to say anything either.
Well, then if she has problems, why is she employed?
This is a meeting.
You spoke to me.
This is a meeting to be held. Keep quiet to be escorted up.
Sir, there's a process to be used here.
Yes.
Shouting out in the public is not the problem.
Yes.
I
He
understand.
addressed me.
Sir, please refrain from shouting out in public further, okay?
I couldn't
We have a
speak.
man on the floor, Mr. Scalancher, at this time.
I couldn't
Please,
speak.
You're not open yet. You want to put your name on the agenda? we'll
It
put
was
on.
gone when I got back.
Please. All right, Jim.
But I came to you last month about the same thing when they were good. We're a month down the road and still nothing. When are you gonna do something?
Mr. Lars, could we appoint a different right to know officer?
If the Borough Council would like to change, we can look at that and figure that out. If that's the direction the council would like to go, we can certainly figure that out.
I mean, they've assigned an attorney from Office of Open Records, Benjamin Laura, who actually is waiting on affidavits at this point. And if we're not in tomorrow, I don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, that's something that has to be addressed. You know, it's the,
It's a job that's not getting done. Someone's job, and they're not doing their job, basically. There's no accountability. It's that simple.
You know, and when you come over here, the only one I ever meet with is the secretary. The borough manager is never here. I mean, one of the questions that I had was about accountability of employees. What's the policy? And there's no answer. I'm not getting any answer.
This is something you all would like me to look into.
yes, definitely. I'd like to look into hours, sick days, vacation days of like, somebody like the borough manager, the secretary, even, well, the policeman, we know, because they have a contract. Would anybody that's employed,
Non-uniform.
then on uniform? Even
I asked for the policy on timekeeping. How do you keep time on policemen, the borough? Maintenance workers, the borough manager, the secretary, anybody that receives a salary from the borough. No answer.
Jerry, we've talked about this, and I know you brought it up at the last meeting. I reached out, and I've been asking for months, but I did get an answer this past week. I had asked the borough manager for a copy of her contract, because it came up that she wasn't required to attend meetings.
I'll be asking for that next.
So well, you don't have to. The fact of the matter is, I was informed there is no contract. It was verbal when she was hired. So there's no contract, and it was just a verbal conversation. So as far as pay, days off, duties, all that was just a verbal conversation with council when she was hired, is what she told me. Is that correct? To your guys' best of your knowledge?
I can't find the minutes to that meeting. The minutes were missing in July of 2010, and the last borough manager was done in June of 2010. July of 2010, the meeting minutes are missing. She's not on the, Mrs. Smith is not on the roll call until January of 2011, which it says she was retained. So I have no idea.
I mean, quite honestly, the position of borough manager, that's like the CEO of this borough. She should be here at work when she's supposed to be, to answer questions. I mean, quite honestly. And you guys are gonna be the ones that are gonna be held accountable on this.
I think that we have to draw up something. There's no agreement, there's no contract, we don't, I mean, she's an at-will employee, so just guidelines, sick days, hours. That's reasonable, that's for sure. Because none of us that go into work will get away with that, I
I mean, even when I went to work, I still had to punch a clock, and I was a boss. I mean, everybody's accountable to somebody.
Don't ask them, anybody,
I know it's disgraceful.
Why can't she move out?
Is there something you would like me to do?
Yeah, check into it if you want to. What's something else we can do?
Regarding 6, we'd like to make.
Oh, they're gonna be contacting you. You won't have to worry about contacting them. In fact, they may have contacted Shannon already.
Well, look, as you don't fill in for Shannon.
I know, you're the labor attorney, literally.
Yeah. I'll reach out to Shannon and, I'll reach out to you for, figure out some more. But do you have a copy of the 6 requests that you submitted?
Yes,
Would it be possible for me to come after the meeting and talk to you about shooting a copy of those from you?
actually, you should have a copy.
I understand, but,
Rosa probably did before. Yeah, but regardless of whether they were denied or processed in part, I deserve an answer. Because I only chose 6 of them. There's more out there, believe me.
Thank you, Chairman. Cheryl Roberts?
Good evening. I just wanted to let you know some of the events that are happening in October. We're going to be having our annual community event. It's our Halloween Evening in the Park event, Sunday, October 14th, from noon to 2. It's going to be at the Ralph Daly Memorial Park in West Wyoming. And our theme is Disney, Marvel, and Pixar. So all of our activities, refreshments will be Disney themed. And we're also reaching out to the community businesses and community members. If they would like to sponsor a trunk or treat, they could contact me at the library. And then we're also partnering with Blue Chip Farm Animal Refuge for October's Amnesty Month at the library. From October 1st to 31st, if a patron has overdue items that are Wyoming Free Library items, they could bring in a can of dog food or roll of paper towels. That is what Blue Chip is requesting. And all the items will be distributed to Blue Chip. And we're going to be having our annual Krispy Kreme donut sale in October. October 1st, pickup will be on Halloween, so it's perfect for Halloween parties. And if I have copies of any of the council members would like one. I don't know if I have enough. And all of our items are on Facebook. And I also wanted to thank Roseanne. She has been very good with putting our items on the Borough webpage. She's been really good with promoting our events. Thank you.
Frank Sarka?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, members of the Wyoming Borough Council and borough residents. My name is Brian Krischka, and I am Vice President of the Wyoming Area Varsity Girls Parents Association. Tonight I'm speaking on behalf of all soccer associations, which encompasses all players in grades 7 through 12. Currently, there are approximately 90 student athletes who have signed up to play soccer for the 2018 season for Wyoming Area High School. To keep soccer programs competitive with powerhouse teams, fundraising is a necessary evil to help offset the cost of equipment and supplies. Over the previous years, the parent associations have taken on the responsibility of holding approved fundraising events to help defray the cost of items needed by the teams. With a limited budget, coaches are faced with the tough decision of what equipment they can afford at the present moment. Big ticket items such as new soccer goals, all-purpose backstop systems, aluminum team benches with backrests for the athletes, and a four-row aluminum low-rise bleachers for spectators are a few wish lists of the items for coaches. These items total nearly $10,000. This brings me to the reason why I'm here this evening. I'm here searching for local businesses who wish to become sponsors to advertise on a 3x3 vinyl sign. The sign will be proudly displayed at the 10th Street Elementary soccer field during the soccer season. The cost is $150 for the 2018 season, which includes the production of the sign, then an annual fee of $100 starting in 2019. During the course of the games, using a portable sound system, we'll make announcements to the attendees to include the playing of our national anthem, team rosters, and encouraging others to visit our sponsors, such as C. Pisano Auto Sales, Evergreen, Wyoming Volunteer Host Company, and Mayor Dominic has agreed to sponsor with other mayors and police departments for the Wyoming area. On behalf of all current and future student athletes, the coaching staff, and the Wyoming Area Varsity Soccer Parents Association, I want to thank you. If anyone is interested in the sign or simply making a donation, please see me after the council meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The list of communications received since the last meeting at the County Council, need a motion to accept. Mr. Urick,
I'll second.
Mr. Strauss. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nays, ayes have it, so moved. The list of bills paid, received for payment and presented to council, exception of motion to be paid. Mrs. Smiles. Seconded by Mr. Urick. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nays, ayes have it, so moved. Unfinished business, Roseanne? Thank you. Motion to make to decide on Commissioner Mike Flanagan's appointment with the Boroughs Police Department.
I make a motion to terminate Mike Flanagan as police commissioner of Wyoming.
Seconded by
I'll second it.
Mr. Schultz. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nays?
No.
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 Vote.
Mr. Nolasco?
Nope.
Mr. Yerk?
No.
Mr. Beloga?
Yes.
Mr. Flynn?
No.
Mrs. Smiles?
No.
Mr. Strauss?
Yes.
Four no, 2 yes.
Okay, motion down.
I make another motion to suspend Mayor Flanagan indefinitely.
The motion on the floor, we already had that.
That was terminated.
Same thing.
Continue the motion.
No, it's not.
No, it
It's a different
isn't.
motion.
No, it isn't.
How would we go? Is this maintaining or continuing the suspension?
That is the motion being proposed by Mr. Beloga. It would be my recommendation at this time that you guys make a decision that the status quo not be continued with that decision as to whether or not this suspension is ended or is employment is terminated, be done here tonight. To continue the indefinite status, I don't believe would be.
There was a motion on that last week, last meeting, so it's still open.
That currently is the situation, yes, and I believe Commissioner Beloga's motion, or Councilman Beloga's motion was to continue that suspension indefinitely. That's the motion that's being put there, which I believe, if it gets a second, you guys would have to act upon. But again, my recommendation to you all is to make a final decision on where to go with this discipline. He has been suspended. He has pled guilty to misdemeanor 3. The prior action of council was to suspend indefinitely pending the resolution of criminal charges. The criminal charges have been resolved, and so now would be time for the borough to make a final decision on how to act.
I'll second the motion that Mr. Beloga wants us to continue the suspension.
Motion is to extend the extension.
So you guys are going to vote to extend the suspension
You got
indefinitely,
the floor.
basically.
Hold on there, you got nothing to say.
I have something to say, it's my
No, you
department.
don't. No, you don't.
Want to make a bet?
Yes.
Mayor Thomas.
This is
Yes,
bullshit.
sir, Councilman.
I mean, you're only asking for advice and you don't take it anyway. This is absolutely asinine what you people are doing. You have to go out and live in this borough and
You guys out.
What was that motion again, Mr.?
I withdraw the motion.
It's already been seconded.
I withdraw it.
Lars?
The motion has been made and has been seconded. The proper course of action now will be to vote on the motion as it was before this body. So I would suggest you do a roll call vote.
What are they voting on?
And the motion, as I heard it, was, and the one who made it and the one who seconded it came correct, but the motion, as I heard it, was to continue the suspension of Commissioner Flanagan
I said indefinitely too.
indefinitely.
That means
Without pay.
No
no pay, with no chance to come back.
Is that what you said? Councilman Boyd, you can't add. But as I heard it, and the councilman who seconded it can state as he heard it, but I heard it as the motion to continue the suspension of Commissioner Flanagan without pay indefinitely. My understanding that was what was seconded by Councilman Flynn, and that would be what would be before this board for a vote. Is that your understanding as well, Councilman Flynn?
Could we have a recess a minute?
Take a recess for the purpose of
Just to discuss it in the back.
having executive, knowing that if we come back on the record, you'll have to announce that we had an executive session, what was this, the gist of what was discussed, and then move forward. So you would need a motion to take a regular meeting to have an executive session, but not adjourn the meeting.
I make a motion to just take a recess for executive discussion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
So you'd have to vote on. Do a roll call.
Mr. Nelaweka?
Yeah.
Mr. York?
Yes.
Mr. Deloria?
Yes.
Mr. Flynn?
Yes.
Mrs. Smiles? Yes. Mr. Schultz?
Yes.
So at this point, there's going to be a break in the meeting for the executive session to occur.
Yeah, you
Okay, come on, you got a nice soft chair here.
Hey, leave him alone with my kid.
More important.
Hey, we're going to resume the meeting of the Wyoming Borough Council. An executive session was held to discuss the personnel matter, the motions that were made regarding the status of Police Commissioner Michael Flanagan. Now we're going back on the record. Council President.
Thank you. Motion is made by Mr. Beloga to extend the continuation of the suspension. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.
No.
No.
Okay, Mr. Malvaca?
Yes.
Mr. Yurick?
No. No, I'm sorry. No.
Okay.
Speak up.
We can't hear anything. Speak up.
The motion, he made the motion, he can't,
What?
if he made the motion, he can't go against it now, right?
Actually,
he made the motion. Yes, he did.
to be honest, I don't know the answer to that question of whether or not you can or not. It's my understanding that the motion is made.
Those three
To
minutes.
keep the suspension going on Mike Flanagan.
So, let's start over. So a motion has been made by Councilman Beloga to extend the indefinite suspension of Police Commissioner Flanagan. The motion was seconded by Councilman Flynn, and you're now going to take a roll call vote on the motion on whether to extend this indefinite suspension of Commissioner Flanagan. Without pay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No.
Two noes.
Mr. Malvaca?
Yes.
Mr. Yurick?
Yes.
Mr. Malonga?
I'm not sure what to say here.
You can
The
vote.
only reason why, here's my thinking here. He should be terminated. Bottom line, he should be terminated. There's no way that you should have a acting commissioner that pled guilty to a theft, leading your department. It's terrible for morale. It could affect future cases of if somebody steals something in the borough. And so that motion failed to terminate Mr. Flanagan. And so I made the motion to suspend him because I thought it would be better to keep him off being commissioner, at least for the foreseeable future. And that's the reason why I made the motion. I realize that there is
Basically, come back with a special meeting or next meeting.
right, you'd have to come back with another meeting to reinstate him, but, so, I am going to vote, I'm gonna vote yes to suspend him because I don't think he should be in charge of the police force right now. Yes.
Mr. Flynn?
Yes.
Mrs. Smiles? Yes. Mr. Speltz?
No, just because of the fact that we should be taking this up as a suspension.
Chad, do you mind if I address everybody for one quick second?
Go right ahead, sir.
So, and I'll reiterate what we discussed, actually, not what we discussed, but I'll bring something to light. The contract that you all voted yes to for this commissioner role, maybe it was 3 or 4 months ago, I don't recall the exact date, but there was a contract that was voted on by council and approved by council for this position. That contract, as you voted yes to that contract, he would not be able to be the candidate that you hired. He would be unacceptable for the position based on the clause in there of the misdemeanor and moral turpitude. So, I just don't get it. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's your guys' vote, but I just want it to be crystal clear. The contract that you guys approved and voted on and had drawn up, that he did not sign because of the issues that occurred, he wouldn't be eligible for that contract.
Either that or you'd be firing him today.
Or basically. So you're still, all right.
It's
We have to vote.
Okay, next
one
motion.
no, the rest are all yes.
Motion made to approve the final settlement of Mike Flynn versus, Mike Fuller versus the Borough of Wyoming.
I'll make a motion.
Mr. Malonga, second by Mrs. Smiles. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nays, ayes have it, so moved. Motion made to approve the final settlement with Chris Berkovich versus Borough of Wyoming.
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Beloga again. Second by Mr. Yurick. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nays, ayes have it, so moved.
I make a motion to terminate the position of police commissioner in Wyoming. The position of police commissioner.
Please, a motion on the floor.
If I could, I believe the term you want to use is
Eliminate the position of police commissioner is not needed in Wyoming. Our officers in charge now are doing a fine job, and we would save $50-some thousand per year. So, that's the motion.
Councilman Beloga, I don't believe all the added elements are what you wanted your motion to be added.
It's just to eliminate the position of
I'm
police
just
commissioner.
explaining the motion.
It's just, that your motion is to eliminate the position of police commissioner, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Motion on the floor to eliminate the police commissioner's position in Borough of Wyoming. We need a second on that.
I'll second.
Mr. Schultz, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nays?
No.
No. Roll call?
Mr. Delaware.
No.
No. Mr. Yurk.
No.
Mr. Beloga.
Embarrassment to this borough.
Mr. Flynn.
No.
What does he have?
Mrs. Smiles.
No.
Mr. Schultz.
Yes.
4 no, 2 yes.
Please, people, if you could refrain from shouting out or making comments, the meeting is being conducted. We're asked to handle it in a courteous manner.
Motion to adjourn.
Mr. Chairman, can I make a motion? I'd like to make a motion to terminate Cameron Smith as borough manager.
I'll second.
Motion on the floor to terminate Tanner Smith as a board member. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nays?
No.
No.
Mr. Yurk.
No.
Former mayor told him.
Mr. Beloga.
Yes.
Mr. Flynn.
No.
Mrs. Smiles.
No.
Mr. Schultz.
Yes.
Motion denied.
I make another motion to suspend Tamara Smith pending the outcome of the state police criminal investigation. We have had raids at her place of business. We've had 4 raids in Wyoming, and I don't believe anybody that house has been raided should be employed at the borough at this point. So I make a motion to suspend her without pay.
There's a motion on the floor to suspend Tanner Smith without pay for,
I'll second.
second, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nays?
No.
No.
No. Ayes have it, 4-2.
Mr. Delaware. Mr. Yurk.
No.
Mr. Beloga.
Yes.
Mr. Flynn.
No.
Mrs. Smiles. No. Mr. Schultz.
Yes.
Motion denied. Motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion.
Well, taxpayers, we got screwed again.